Hey, what is going on, Taurus? Butch Tarot here. I am going to do your 1 week read. It is a general read, so it may not resonate with everyone. It is for your Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus. For all you cross watchers, roles can be reversed. Always feel free to comment down below. So I started a new system where I'm going to do all signs together. So I'm going to do all fire, all air, all earth, all water. That way I'm never going to miss a sign. The way I had it before was too chaotic, and I was kind of missing things from here and there, and sometimes I noticed it myself, and sometimes I see it in the comments, but I don't want anybody to feel like I'm not giving everybody their fair share, so this is the best way I can figure to do that. And also I'm going to start adding in some singles reads for the singles out there, because I know general reads kind of give you whatever it gives you, but if we focus more on singles, I feel like I did a poll, and that's the one I got the most response for, so look forward to that coming up soon. Just something new, but I'm still going to be continuing my generals too. So anyway, I'm going to be using the Pulp Tarot. With all that being said, let's get it. Universe, spirits, and guides, what message do we have for Taurus? All right, Taurus. So the first thing that I'm getting is this is an energy you're familiar with. This is someone I feel like you already know. For some of you, this is someone you still have a relationship with, or for others, this may be something that's just coming to an end, or it can be something that's just on and off. I mean, I am getting a little bit of a vibe that there is kind of like a hot and cold with this connection. With that Five of Pentacles, it's that hot and cold energy. It's something that you can't really rely on, because it's never one way for too long. Sometimes things are good. Others, they can't get any worse. I mean, I just feel like this very complicated relationship that you have with this person. I feel like part of you is holding on to it, not only by your own accord, but I feel like there is some manipulation going on as well. I mean, I feel like you're not seeing all the details, because this person is very good at hiding them from you. I mean, we have the Seven of Swords, and we have the Two of Swords. So things happening right in front of you, and this with the Two of Swords and the Seven of Swords, I feel like with this person, it's like they don't want you to know how they feel, or how they truly feel. I feel like this person has a hard time being honest with you anymore, and I feel like there's a reason behind that. They don't want you to see how they really feel. They don't want to share that with you. I mean, I feel like there's a hidden agenda here. I mean, if I'm going to be honest with you, which I always try to do, sometimes the truth hurts, but I feel like this is necessary. We have the Queen of Swords, so I feel like there's a lot of lies coming out of this person. And one of those lies, I feel like emotionally, they already walked away. I feel like emotionally, I feel like they don't have that connection with you anymore. With that Eight of Cups. And the reason why it is hot and cold, the reason why there is back and forth is because I feel like with this person, they're concentrated on stability, and you provide that. You know, it's like they think they have the best chance with you, and they know they can't do it on their own with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. They know they can't do it on their own. So, in essence, what I feel is this energy of someone just manipulating you to get what they want. I mean, they need you. They can't do it on their own. You know, and it's such a manipulating energy. I mean, I feel like you see what I'm saying. You see the negatives are greatly outweighing the positives of that Five of Cups. But it's also this person's manipulation that's causing you to feel like you don't want to have that regret of walking away from this if there's still hope. Like I said, I mean, there's so much chaos coming. And it may have already started for some of you, but there's more coming. And with this person, it's a very, like I said, it's a very defensive energy. I mean, the easiest route would be just to be honest with you and tell you, okay, this is, we've come to a crossroads where I can't continue to be on the same page with you anymore. But they won't do that because they need you. They can't be honest with you because they need you. So they'd rather it just go into chaos. And what I see is I don't see any huge transformation with the Death card in reverse. I don't see them showing up. I don't see them putting in the work. I mean, we have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. I mean, it's saying everything to the opposite. You know, I don't feel like you can trust this person. And I feel like you already kind of know that. And I feel like there's times when you realize there's no potential for this. Like, it's not, I mean, I feel like you know it's not going to get any better, but I feel like sometimes you may ignore your intuition because you know, it's, sometimes we ignore our intuition because we don't want to hear what it's saying to us. You know, your intuition isn't always going to tell you what you want to hear, but it's always going to tell you what you need to hear. And sometimes we don't want to listen to that because it's telling us something we don't want to hear. You know, and I feel like it breaks your heart to think of that. But I feel like your heart's going to get broken either way moving forward with this connection. Like, I mean, everything I'm seeing is a negative here. I mean, Seven of Pentacles, you're not on the same page. You're not even in the same book anymore. You know, this person is with you and continues to be with you solely for their own gain. I mean, we even have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. What that tells me is I don't see this aligning. I don't see it, this miraculously changing this person. Like I said, with the Death card reverse, I don't see any huge transformations going on here. Unfortunately, I just see it getting worse. And you losing more and more in this connection because I feel like you're the only person at this point that truly cares. I mean, this person is doing a lot of work for you not to see what's really going on because they can't afford to lose you. You know, they don't want you to see it for what it is. Like I said with that Two of Swords, they don't want to see what's right in front of you. They don't want you to see that because that'll cost them. And that just shows more and more how far this person's fallen. You know, I feel like you had potential. You know, this relationship, and that's the biggest problem in a lot of relationships is in the beginning. If it's really good, it's like we always feel like we can get back there. You know, there's a chance we can get back there. You know, it's never really over. That type of energy, especially when it was really good in the beginning. The better it was, the harder it is to accept the truth. But I feel like you need to trust your intuition is what I'm seeing here. And you need to see this in a different perspective and realize that you have more options out there. You know, trust your intuition, even if it's telling you things you don't want to hear. especially if it's telling you things you don't want to hear. And like I said, once you see this in a different perspective, and you see this person in a different perspective, I feel like it's going to allow you to move forward, to move on. But until you see it for what it is, like I said, I do feel like there's a lot of manipulation going on here, because it's manufactured happiness is what I see. Like, they're trying to keep you happy enough to keep them around. There's happiness of where you're genuinely happy, the other person is genuinely happy being with you, and then there's manufactured happiness when that person does what they can to make you happy or happy enough so you stick with it. They're not doing it to make you happy, they're doing it for their own gain. It's a very selfish energy. Someone's just trying to make you happy. It's like the old car salesman. When you go in there, they talk you up, they compliment you, they say all these nice things. Because at the end of the day, the better they make you feel, the less likely you are to catch on when they're trying to swindle you into a vehicle you don't want or can't afford. It's like, what's that old saying, buttering you up? And not only do I see heartbreak moving forward with this for you and that chaotic energy, the worst part of this is we got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I feel like you're going to lose. You're going to lose more than just your happiness. And like I said, the Wheel of Fortune reverse is just, it's not something you want to see. I'm seeing so many red flags here. Like I always tell people, don't collect red flags. It's not a collection that you want to have. I mean, it's all about perspective. Life is all about perspective. What I see in this, the silver lining I see in this, is knowing that this isn't the right person allows you to move forward and find that right person, to give your attention to the right person. This isn't it. They don't deserve you. And like I said, I mean, they're not going to tell you the truth. I feel like them avoiding that at all costs, because that causes them to lose. If someone is doing something for you to make you happy, to manipulate you, or to make you happy makes them happy, that's selfish. That's the thing in life. We all gotta make ourselves happy. And if we can get ourselves to a happy place, we're gonna be happy in our relationships. And if everybody did that, it's beneficial. When it's beneficial to both parties, that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. With this person, a lot of Earth. We got Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. We have some fire as well. We have some Leo. Some Sagittarius. We have Aquarius. We do have some Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. It's so hard to tell too. It's so hard to tell. That's a hard thing for a lot of relationships, and realizing whether or not you're being played. Because like I said, a lot of times when we have a great relationship with someone in the beginning, everything's good. We have so much potential. We're clicking. It's passionate. Everything is just going so good. We give that relationship more leeway than maybe we should sometimes. When it starts getting bad, we kind of hang on. If you've ever been in a relationship where it was kind of rocky in the beginning, letting go isn't that hard. You're in a relationship where in the beginning you kind of, you have your good moments and you have your bad moments, but it kind of balances itself out. When it comes to a point to walk away from that relationship, you don't have that much investment into it. So it's easier to walk away. But when you're in a relationship where you're happy in the beginning and you have these good times and feel like when it starts to slip off, we can always get back to there because we had it at one point. You know, that's when it gets complicated, and that's when it kind of draws us in. Like I remember I talked with this girl. She's a Capricorn. This girl I dated for a few years. You know, we had a really great friendship. The first of our relationship was really great friendship. And, you know, we were very, you know, kind of compatible. You know, we had all these good things going for us. And then around the year mark, she just changed into someone else. It was almost like the mask had finally fallen off. Like that whole almost a year we were together, there was a lot of fakeness, a lot of holding back on her end. And then after we're in a year, we ended up moving in together. It was maybe a month after we moved in together, she just completely changed into someone different. Like completely 180. You know, and the same thing happened to me. I held on to that relationship a lot longer than I should have, because I kept thinking that that first year, there's no way. Like, I know when you first start dating someone, sometimes people can trick you. You know, they can put on this facade. I always felt like I was more intelligent too intelligent to fall for that. Or at least I thought, you know, that could only last, 6 weeks, a couple months. I didn't think somebody could put on an act for a year. But, you know, in Canada, which is really manipulative, in Canada we have common law. And that means if you're living with somebody for such and such amount of time, they can take half your stuff. It's like being married. So, like I said, not long after we moved in together, things started changing. You know, the mask started falling off. But I held on. I'm a loyal person. You know, if I invest in someone, it's because they mean something. You know, I see potential. And once I go into something, I usually try to see it through. Like, that's just how I am. You know, and I'm loyal to a fault. Sometimes I give people that don't deserve my loyalty, and it takes a long time for me to catch on that they didn't deserve it. But like I said, it's one of those things in life where it's kind of like sticking a fork in a light socket, or a plug-in socket, or a knife or something, or sticking anything into there. I remember when I was a kid, my mom told me that I had done that one time. I was eating or something, and I was sitting on the floor, and I was watching cartoons or something. And she says, next thing, she looked over, and I went to reach to put in the thing. She didn't even know how I got from eating to wanting to put something in a light socket. And she was just about to say something. My dad told her not to. And so I got shocked. And I remember her telling me that. And I was like, telling my dad, I'm like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you stop me? He's like, well, you never did it again. You know, sometimes we just gotta get burned in order to know that things are hot. Unfortunately, it's a lesson that we, like I said, in life, sometimes there's bad and sometimes there's good lessons, but they're all lessons. You know, even bad relationships teach you something. As long as you learn, you can move forward. Unfortunately, there's some people out there that keep doing the same thing over again and expecting different results. But anyway, that's what I have for you. Be good. Take care. Stay safe.